What's good, Wizards fans? The Washington Wizards beat the Charlotte Hornets 132 to 116. They actually make another team wave the white flag. Kyle Kuzma goes off, and Gallo has a great game as well. We're going to talk about the bench and how well they played. Let's get to it.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by Jase Medical. Empower yourself when you purchase a Jase case, providing you with a personal supply of 5 antibiotics that treat 50-plus infections. Get yours today at jasemedical.com. That's Jase medical.com. And it's your guy, the real Ed Oliver, my guy Brandon Scott, coming to you guys after a Wizards dub. We haven't seen one in a while. They blew out the Charlotte Hornets. It really was not as close as the end score says, 132 to 116. That still is, a 16-point win. But that fourth quarter, the Wizards, they went crazy. They had a really good first half as well. Kyle Kuzma ended up with 33 points. Let me double check if he had 33, but he went nuclear tonight. He had 33 points and 9 boards. But my question for you to start off is what was your thoughts on the bench tonight, and which player from the bench impressed you the most?
Man, that's a hard question, man, because if you look at the bench won this game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, very easily, man. Looking at the bench real quick, we're going to start with Gallinari, man. 18 points, 7 for 11 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3. He did his thing tonight. He was very, very active. He had a little spring to his step tonight. Very impressed, man. Shamet, 15 points in 17 minutes, 3 for 6 from 3, 6 for 9 overall. We both said that when he's not hitting threes, he ain't doing well. He told me where to put those comments, man, because he drove the lane, he dunked. I mean, he was active, man. I love what I saw from Shamet tonight, man. He looked good. But looking at DeLon Wright again, we said that DeLon Wright was very underwhelming this year. He wasn't the same player. Well, 26 minutes tonight, but he scored 18 minutes. Oh, Lord hammers, 18 points, but he shot 4 for 5 from the field, 2 for 3, and was perfect at the line, 8 for 8. And Corey Kispert came in. He started a little slow, but he picked up the pace, man, and he finished with 12 points. So, look, this second unit won this game. They look good tonight. Gallinari, the guys that were trying to boost their trade value, they did exactly that. This is the type of performances you want to see from them because they're definitely going to boost their value in the trade market going towards the deadline, man. But love what I saw for the bench overall. But if I had to choose one, man, that's hard. I guess from an overall standpoint, we're looking at Gallinari. Gallinari just was a scorer herself, man. And people forget, man. I'm going back in the NBA past a little bit, but people forget that when Denver sent Melo to New York and Gallinari went to Denver, he was the number one scoring option. So he's a scorer in his league. He's always been that guy who can come in and score a bunch of points for you. And again, he really boosted his trade value tonight. So, in my opinion, obviously we're going to talk about the starting unit, man. But this second unit won the game, and this was a must-win in my opinion because this is a team that is kind of the same boat as we are. It's a young team with you got a few guys who could trying to boost the value for trade, but Terry Rozier didn't play. Obviously, he's a Wizards killer, but look, I'll take the dub, and especially looking at the fact that Rozier's going to be out Friday night. We're going to be playing practically the same team. And I think that we could go home with some energy, man. And we'll talk about the schedule in a little bit. But if you look at the next 3 games, I think they're winnable games. So, and I know everybody's going to get on me about it being a rebuild. But, that's the thing about a rebuild. It's hard, man, because you want this team to put themselves in the best position for a draft capital. But then you kind of want to see the competitive spirit in them. And they did. This was a good win tonight. So, yeah, this bench was very, very impressive tonight, man.
Yeah, the bench was great. I mean, he hit the nail on the head with every point. I mean, Gallinari hit 4 threes tonight. He came out hot and playing inside out, scoring in the post, getting to the basket. I mean, he was very impressive. He was like a man amongst boys out there at one point. The bench was huge, man. From top to bottom, we've given these guys a hard time. DeLon has been struggling through the first couple of games. He played well defensively. He scored as well, 8 for 8 from the free throw line. DeLon Wright tonight, which is insane. 18 points off the bench, a plus 26. Shamet plus 24, 15 points. And Gallo was a plus 18 with 18 points tonight, too. We don't win this game without the bench at all. And just looking at the bench numbers as well, the bench, they don't even have it on. I got to calculate it myself. But I want to say the bench had like 60-something points or like 70 points.
Yeah.
And we shot 18 for 43 from the three-point line. We shot 41%. We shot very, very well from the three-point line. We still got out-rebounded, but it didn't really matter. 26 assists. The ball movement was just we were really moving the ball well. That was huge. We were getting out in transition. And I know Denny's the starter. We'll talk about him a little bit later. But Denny was really getting to the basket, too. I love how decisive he was. We'll talk about Kuz a little bit later, too. But Kuz was getting to the basket whenever he felt like doing it. But, yeah, Shamet surprised me, man. That dunk was very surprising. I didn't know he had that in him.
Yeah.
Apparently, he had a 39.5-inch vertical coming out of the draft, which is very surprising to me as well. Corey Kispert had a pull-up three at one point, too. I mean, these guys were just hot, man. They were hot. They were on fire. And they really could have blew this away. What was the largest lead? They really could have won this game by really more than what they did. They were up by 26 at one point. It's just that third quarter with Wes and just making adjustments. We talked about it last night with David Harrison. And that third quarter, man, it's just a black hole for the Wizards. It's like the twilight zone for Wes Unseld Jr. I was concerned that they were going to give up another lead, another 15-plus point lead, but they were able to hang on. They made adjustments, and guys played better in that fourth quarter. But, man, the bench, I was impressed, man. And these guys, I don't know if they boosted their trade value at all, but, other teams looking, they may be like, hey, man, Gallo can come off the bench for us and give us 10 points. He can knock down a couple of threes. He can score in the post. Shamet can knock down a couple of threes. He can surprisingly dunk on you or something like that. DeLon Wright can play good defense. He can, press full court, get some steals, deflections. So I'm really happy with the way they play tonight. I know the win is, we do want to get the best draft position, but we shouldn't go, 5 and 8 and 77. It looked like they were barely going to win 10 games. And yes, Rozier didn't play. I think that is a big factor. You brought that up too, which is very true because Rozier is known as a Wizards killer for sure. But LaMelo played hard, man. LaMelo had 34 points. He was trying, man. He was trying to score and really, really get buckets and keep their team within it. But guys weren't able to finish shots. We didn't let Nick Richards hurt us. We didn't let Mark Williams had a solid game, but they benched him. He barely played in the fourth quarter. Gafford barely played in the second half. He didn't really need to play because the bench just played so well. And we'll talk about Jordan Poole too. Some of the bench guys looks like they got more minutes than Jordan Poole. Just looking at it, Jordan Poole ended up with 20 minutes, but we're going to talk about him next. But yeah, Kispert, DeLon, and Blau, all those guys, and Gallinari basically had as many minutes or more than Jordan Poole. So yeah, I tip my cap. Big bounce back game for Gallo. Muscala didn't play. That's the only guy that didn't play at all off that bench crew. And Johnny Davis came in. He had 3 minutes. Ryan Rollins had 3 minutes. But we're gonna talk about Jordan Poole next. But other than that, man, the bench looked great, man. I give them an A++ tonight.
Absolutely. But I mean, looking at the tail of the tape, man, I think the biggest thing tonight was they capitalized off of turnovers, man.
That is true.
The Hornets committed 22 turnovers as opposed to our 11, and we scored. If you look at it, where we at? Points off, 35 points off turnovers. So they capitalized on the defensive end. Defensively, they looked good. I mean, they were rotating better. DeLon Wright tonight, I believe he got 3, if not 4 steals. But I like what I saw tonight. This second unit is the biggest reason why we won this game. So like I said, I know we're going to talk about the starting unit, and it's not going to be as glamorous as our conversation about the second unit. But the second unit, they showed out. They stepped up, and you best believe that. I thought this Shamet was just a 3-point shooter. And he slid through the lane and dunked. I was like, okay, all right, cool. Hey, I ain't saying nothing else for the night. So yeah, I'm very impressed with the second unit. They were the biggest catalyst for this win tonight. So my hat goes off to the second unit.
Yeah, they were all unselfish. They made the extra pass. They got steals. The first couple of plays of the game, Gafford had 2 big blocks. Denny had a block on Brandon Miller, the rookie out of Alabama. Top 3 pick in the draft. That was a huge block by Denny on Brandon Miller. That set the tone there too, just defensively. That we weren't going to let guys come in and punk us like the other night with Philly with Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey. All those guys did whatever they felt like doing. But tonight, these guys, they came out, set a tone, blocked a couple shots. And just let the Hornets know it was not going to be sweet in the paint tonight. And once again, I thought it was a solid win. It was a solid win, and hopefully they can carry that into the in-season tournament on Friday. But we're going to talk about Jordan Poole a little bit and some of the other players. But before we do that, today's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Big shout out to eBay Motors. Make sure you guys check them out. Our partner at eBay Motors has teamed up with Locked On Fantasy Basketball host Josh Lloyd to bring you some of the best fantasy picks each week, all season long. Whether you're prepping for a daily draft or scouting the waiver wire, every week we're going to provide you players that are guaranteed to fit on your roster. So let's see who Josh has picked out for us on this week's eBay's Guaranteed Fit Fantasy Picks of the Week. Josh picked Brandon Miller. He said that he should be starting for the rest of the week while Terry Rozier recovers from his groin injury. He becomes more interesting for fantasy teams. That is true. Brandon Miller did start. He did get a lot of playing time, but I like Josh's pick with Denny Avdia. His explanation is that Denny Avdia has upped his usage this season and seems to be locked in as a starter. The minutes can be confusing, but he is shooting at career best levels, and I have to 100% agree with that. I love the way that Denny has played so far. Looking at his numbers tonight, he finished with 9 points, which is not a lot, but and he struggled to shoot tonight, 3 for 10, but he did other things really, really well. He got to the basket really, really well. I love the way he attacked and got to the basket on his 3 field goals. And so far, he's had a good season. He's been very aggressive and very decisive, and his confidence has certainly gone up. So I definitely agree with his pick on Denny Avdia. Another pick is Dylan Brooks. His shooting will not stick, but Ime Udoka is pumping a lot of minutes into him. He's getting steals, and he is playing his role excellently. So I can see why he picked Dylan Brooks as well. Bismack Biyombo's on the list, and Jordan Hawkins, who had a huge game. Jordan Hawkins had 31 for the Pelicans the other night as well. Zion Williamson was out. You know, he's having a child, so he missed a game. Brandon Ingram has missed some time too. A lot of guys on the Pelicans have missed a lot of time. That's given a lot of room for Jordan Hawkins to step up. If you have a personal experience about buying a car, Josh Lloyd from Locked On Fantasy Basketball is going to help you guys win your fantasy championship. And eBay Motors knows the championship team is about each player being a perfect fit. Same with your vehicle. If you have a personal experience about buying a part for your car from eBay, make sure you guys use eBay Motors. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you can make sure your ride stays running smoothly. Brake kits, LED headlights, roof rack, bumpers, whatever your baby needs, eBay Motors has it. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Plus, at these prices, you're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. Make sure you guys check us out tomorrow. We will be previewing the game against the Hornets again for the in-season tournament. So everydayers, tomorrow on the show, we will be doing that. Make sure you guys check us out. All right. So let's just talk about Jordan Poole here. I think he's a hot topic. And we'll look at one comment that already talked about Jordan Poole. James Sheets. He says, I understand player development, but Jordan Poole seems to get benched a little too easily for a star. But he says star in quotation marks. On the other hand, he doesn't show any consistency. You can really only FanDuel with Kuz these days. That's what I'm telling you, James. I'm telling you, every morning, this is what I do. Brandon can tell you. I get on FanDuel. I see Kuz 20-plus points, and it's like minus 140, minus 155, minus 160, and I take it every single time. As long as it's in the minus 100s and they don't cook it and make it minus 500, minus 1,000, I'm taking it as a straight bet every single night. And I was foolish, and I took Jordan Poole to get over 18.5 points and 19.5. I was like, why did I do this?
Hey, man, easy money. I'm trying to tell you, every night, 20-plus, man. Easy money.
But what are your thoughts on Jordan Poole? Jordan Poole ended up with 20 minutes tonight, 3 for 12 from the field. I want to say he started 0 for 6, 11 points. And, I just want to get your thoughts on Jordan Poole and his playing time tonight.
Oh, man. 20 minutes. That said a lot, especially being benched. 3 for 12 for the field, 1 for 5. He got to the line shooting for 5, 1 assist, 2 rebounds. Underwhelming. I mean, for a guy that I had high praise for, a guy I thought was going to come in and kind of light the league on fire, it kind of looks like the league has figured them out a little bit. Like, if you look at the defensive scheme, especially tonight, they knew how to play him. and he knew how to kind of keep him out of. So I think, maybe he needs to kind of reinvent his game a little bit. Find out what, because people have figured out how to play him. So he's got to, I say it time and time again, he's got to really learn how to utilize the guys around him. Obviously, he's a scorer. He's eventually going to have good outings where he's going to drop 25, 30 points. But when you have nights like this, you've got to find other ways to get other people involved and use yourself as a decoy. Drive the lane more. I mean, so it was very underwhelming. And like I said, it's still early in the game. I mean, it's the 7th game of the year. So, I think they're going to figure it out. But, Jordan Poole, man, he's got to figure it out because, like I said, he was that guy. He was that key acquisition. He's been underwhelming thus far. So, yeah, it wasn't his best showing. And it really, if you look at his first unit, you already kind of said something about it. Denny 27 minutes played, 9 points. His shot was a little off, but he found other ways to contribute. 5 assists. He had a couple passes. I was like, okay. His vision showed tonight. 3 rebounds, but his defense was there. You got a line 3 for 3. So I wasn't too bothered. I mean, 4 foul trouble for himself and Gaff, which, I feel like we say this every episode about Gaff, man. This foul trouble. I mean, non-effective. I felt like Nick Richards could have done more. Same thing with Mark Williams. I was very surprised that they had kind of a lukewarm showing because looking at Gaff, again, 13 minutes. 5 points, 5 rebounds, very underwhelming. So this first unit didn't look too good tonight. Same thing with Tyus. Tyus 2 points, did get 6 rebounds. 4 assists, off shooting nice. So this front, the fact that his second unit kind of made up for that shows a lot about the second unit, man, because our starting 5 did not look too good tonight. So, but yeah, get back to Jordan Poole. Just, I'm hoping he figures it out, man. But he's got to understand that this ain't Golden State. You got a different role on this team, and you've got to find a way to try to get other people involved because he's still going to be a centerpiece of game playing for other teams as far as defensively. So when you have off shooting nights, I want to see him get more, use himself more as a decoy, jog the ball more, try to get, that's where I'm at with him. But I'm not concerned yet. Obviously we've seen certain things where immaturity might be an issue to a certain degree, but I think they're going to coach him up. He should be all right. He just needs to settle down a little bit. But yeah, I mean, Kyle Kuzma made up. I mean, Kyle Kuzma was a man on fire tonight. I mean, brother looked good tonight. 33 points, 9 rebounds. I mean, he was doing his thing. He did a good job tonight. So I'm not too concerned yet, there's certain things I want to see change within Jordan Poole's game, but I think he's going to be all right, man. He's too good to be held down for long. So,
yeah. So he's such a talented player, but there was even just one play in the beginning of the game where he crossed up Gordon Hayward and he got past him very quickly, but he just stopped and he's settling for threes and step back jumpers. And he's not shooting the ball well right now. 1 for 6 from the 3-point line, 1 for 5, where I feel like he can get to the basket a little bit more, get to the free throw line. I want to see what he did, and I want to see him do more what he did in that Knicks preseason game where he just got to the free throw line. I know not every game is going to be like that, but he got to the free throw line just continuously. And I think he's so shifty and quick to the point where he can get guys in foul trouble. And I think he's just settling a little too much and taking his shot selection, of course, has been questionable.
Yeah,
but I do think Wes is yanking him a little too early or not really giving him consistent minutes. I think ever since the backboard pass, I think Wes has kind of been quick to pull him out the game. He just has a short margin for error with Jordan Poole at this point, which I get it, I understand, but and it was a blowout, so and the bench was just playing well. So this was a game where you got to ride the hot hand. Landry Shamet was hot. Corey was hot. DeLon was hot. Gallo was hot. So everybody on the bench played, really, really well. And Kuzma. It was really Kuzma on the bench tonight. Gafford, he played his part at times. He did get in foul trouble. But I thought he did a good job against Nick Richards and Mark Williams at times. I thought he played hard. I thought he played pretty well. Then he didn't shoot the ball well, but I thought he was assertive and got to the basket at times. And Tyus, it wasn't his best game. DeLon was the better point guard out there tonight. And, sometimes it's not your night. It wasn't. Tyus did other things, like he brought up 6 boards. Thought he did a good job at that.
Yeah.
But, Jordan Poole, I mean, I want to see more from him, of course. I want to see more consistency and just better shot selection, just better decision-making, maturity, all that. He had a good game. the last game they played. He had a better game, I'll say that. But I just want to see more consistency. I don't know what's going on with him and Wes at this point, where Wes is just ready to yank him out. But Kuzma has definitely stepped up as that leader and that alpha on the team. 33 points, and he wasn't settling for three. He shot 11 threes, but he wasn't settling. He got to the basket a lot tonight. He really did. He boarded well as well, too, with 9 boards. So he was clearly the best player on the court by far tonight. But the other guys on the bench certainly stepped up. But we'll see what happens with Jordan Poole. I want to give it 20 games and see where we're at with him and really evaluate. But right now, it's a super, super rocky start.
Yeah, it is. But, I mean, him being benched is, look, what we complain about West not really taking control of the locker room. He's trying to do that. He's putting people on notice and saying, look, you got to take this serious. We can have fun, but we have to it's got to be controllable fun. We can't be getting blown out. You trying to be fancy out there. So he's sending a message, and I get that. And I love that. That's a good move on West's part. Kyle Kuzma, his leadership. Again, you see him and Denny talking. Denny's trying to grow. Kuz is really showing his leadership, so I love that part. But Jordan Poole, he's got too much talent. But I'd be very surprised if he bottoms out, man. I think he's got too much talent. He just needs to be coached up. He needs to, show a little level of maturity, man, and really take it serious. Because I think it's kind of a wake-up call. You go from a Golden State Warriors team where you're challenging for a title every year to a Wizards team where you're year one of a rebuild. And people look at the fun over in Golden State. It's like, okay, they're having fun because they're good. You can't be bad and have fun because then people are going to say, oh, so he's got to kind of dial it down, kind of understand the situation's in. But I think he's got way too much talent, man. And so I think in the long run he'll be all right. But I think I'm with you, man, is that at the 20 game mark, we're really going to see what he's bringing to the table as far as in DC. Because, I mean, the greatest thing is that at one point we were talking about him being the future. And then and at some point, people were talking about, man, what deals can we get for Poole now? You know what I mean? So it's that quick. But I think that he's going to be all right, man. Again, I'm going to stress it, is that I feel like he's got way too much talent to be, not to be held down for long. So he'll be all right.
Right. Definitely. We're going to get some more comments. But before we do that, we got a quick word from Brandon.
Yes, sir. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Jase Medical. We spend a lot of time together talking, right? You and I. We get fired up together on wins and losses, who starts and who sits. I'm thankful for that connection we have. And today I want our chat to be a little more personal. I just learned that you can get a 1-year supply on medications. You realize what that means, right? Bring on an extended travel, bring on the next national disaster or supply chain issue. You are covered, my friend. You don't have to worry about whether or not you can refill your genetics for Cialis, Viagra, Revexio prescription. And this is because of our friends at Jase Medical. Go online right now at jasemedical.com to receive your 12-month supply on your daily medication. Remember to use promo code LOCKEDON at checkout for that discount as well. A verified customer has this to say about Jase. I am thankful for this service. Supply chain issues caused me to cut pills in half to have it. I ordered most of my daily meds with a year's supply. I also ordered an antibiotic kit. I feel secure now. Prices are lower than local pharmacies. I highly recommend this for everyone, end quote. If you or someone you love would like to get a peace of mind by having a 1-year supply of any daily med that they need, go to jasemedical.com to see if it's offered for you. And remember to use promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off your next purchase. So I say this every time we do Jase Medical, man. I definitely recommend that you get the medication, get the supplies you need for any national disaster, anything that comes up. Jase Medical does have a lot of good stuff, especially the fact that they provide 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use. So again, definitely go to jasemedical.com and use our promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off your next purchase. And we appreciate you guys for making Locked On Wizards your listen every single day. Every day is again tomorrow. We're going to do a preview for tomorrow night's or Friday night's game against the Charlotte Hornets, which is the first in-season tournament game at home for the Washington Wizards. So definitely tune in for that.
Yes, sir. We're going to read one more comment here and then wrap it up. I know there's a bunch of comments in here, so we're going to read them tomorrow for the preview. I do want to talk about this, even though we're going to answer another question because I do want to talk about the game rather than just not Pat Bowlen. I don't know. I think the G League, the Go-Go, their first game is, I want to say tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that's where you're going to see him. I think that's where you're going to see him and Jared Butler, because right now Patrick Baldwin, he's been one dimensional too, where he just, if he's not hitting the three, he hasn't provided much. So in Ryan Rollins at this point, he just gives you a lot more defensively, as he got a steal today. Johnny Davis had a nice block as well, and Ryan Rollins, he can get to the basket too. So he just provides more, and they got 15 guys on the roster, so I think I would love to see Pat Baldwin play, but I think once they start making moves and start trading guys, that's when you're going to see more Pat Baldwin.
Yeah, looking at the Google schedule, it is Friday against the Maine Celtics. So yeah, their first game is on Friday. But I'm with you, man. I think that with Patrick Baldwin Jr., you might see minutes come up, because where could you really play him right now? I mean, Gallinari, he's playing pretty decent. You trying to get his trade value up. And Marui, he's been playing. I mean, I don't see where you kind of fit him in, because again, he's a shooter where if his shot's not dropping, he needs to find other ways to contribute. He hasn't found that yet. So yeah, I think once we get to the deadline, we start moving some of these expiring deals, man. You should be able to see some minutes for Patrick Baldwin Jr. So, but I'm with you, man. It's I'm very intrigued to see what he can do with some decent minutes.
Yeah. Dan Sabanico 84 says, I'm watching him Poole. It doesn't seem like he's locked in or he's taking his game serious. Yeah, some of the shot selection, I thought he had some good moments in I want to say it was the third quarter, where he got to the basket and scored. He scored a goaltender. He got to the basket very quickly and got a scoop under Mark Williams. So he shows flashes of how talented he is. But one mistake right now, and West is taking him out. There's not a lot of margin for error for him, especially if the bench is playing. If DeLon's playing like that, you got to play DeLon. If Shamit's playing like that, you got to play Shamit too. I mean, Gallo, all the bench guys, they were just the better unit tonight. The bench was the better unit by far, where in other cases, nobody has played well, but the bench has been awful in some of these games. The bench was awful against the Sixers. Gallo barely played, and he was unplayable. But tonight, the bench was they deserve minutes. Now, Jordan Poole, he definitely should be getting 30 minutes a game.
Yeah.
You feel like, and we talked about him coming into the season. Could he be the next James Harden? Could he take that leap? Could he be the most improved player? Where right now it's looking like it's nowhere near that. Kevin Garnett is the one who said he could be the next James Harden, and it's looking nowhere near that. So it takes time to gel. Right now, Kuzma's hitting the ground running. He's looking like the guy that could be in the running for. He could probably get a vote for most improved. He keeps it up playing like this. He could get a vote, but we can't keep getting blown out for him to get a vote. But Jordan Poole right now, it just looks like he's got to lock in, and let's see where he's at 20 games with let's get 20 games under our belt, and then I'll see where he's at.
Yeah, I mean, he ain't looking like that next James Harden, man. Looking more like the next Dennis Smith Jr. I mean, he's got to step it up, man. Nick Young, but I think he's too talented, man. He just needs to figure out where he's at. This ain't Golden State. You have to be more of a central figure, man. And the maturities, maturities have a piece of it. He's got to mature up a little bit, because you can't be doing some of this stuff, man. Like I said, when you're playing well and your team overall is doing well, then you can get away with being flashy and all that. But it ain't a good look, man, when you're down 30, being flashy, getting blocked on national TV, man. It ain't a good look. So, but I think that West has shown that he's trying to instill some discipline on this team, and he's saying that, look, we can't be doing all that. I'm just going to sit you, because nobody is above the law. You know what I'm saying? So I like what West did by benching him, and I think he's gonna be all right, man. Like I said, he is too talented for him to bottom out. I think he's going to do well. It's just he's got to figure out what he's trying to do. You know what I mean? Like I said, we said every game when it comes to Jordan Poole, he's got to shoot a lot more hops in the shots, man. You do not force it. There's no need to force a lot of these shots, and he's got to be more aggressive. So I'm with you, man. I agree on all points when it comes to Jordan Poole.
Now, tomorrow, good thing, some comments that I see that we should definitely discuss is from Matt. The team has officially given up on Johnny Davis. Maybe it's for the best. ... I don't, it is. I mean, Johnny Davis right now, I don't see him getting minutes until after the trade deadline. But we'll see. He might be on his way out as well. But we'll see. But we'll comment more about that tomorrow. We've talked about Johnny a little bit. He got in once again with garbage time. I don't think he got in at all. Yeah, he got 3 minutes tonight. And Blau hit a couple threes tonight. So I like what I saw from him. Let me just confirm that because I know I saw him hit 1 3 tonight. He looking at the stats here. Yeah, he did. He had 2 threes. Those were his only points. He had 5 fouls though. He had 6 points and 5 fouls. So he is trying to defend, but he's just got to be smart and try to defend without fouling. Tomorrow, Michael O. This is an interesting comment too. He said we won, but honestly, we should be tanking. These are the type of wins that will give us the 9th pick of the draft. We can talk about that tomorrow. And of course, Israeli FanDuel will read some of your comments tomorrow too. He said Poole should have passed to Johnny. He said it says Poole should have pissed to Denny Moore. 9 points is not enough.
I don't know what to say. Looking at Johnny, man. Look, don't be too hard on him, man. He got a block. So
right,
I mean, he contributed. But I mean, Johnny, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, what you want to say with playing time that he'll be all right, but I don't know, man. Shaman's looking good, so obviously they're gonna try to move him, but I don't know. How long should we be waiting for Johnny Davis? At what point do you think it's time to move on? I don't know, because he's just not consistent. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's times where you'll see him playing. It's like, okay, I see that potential. I see what people are talking about. That guy at Wisconsin. And then there's some days where it's like he's non-existent. So I don't know, man. I don't. I'm really rooting for the brother, man. I want him to succeed. I want him to have a place here in DC. But he's got to show me more, man. Because where's the loyalty with his front office? You know what I mean? Like Denny got the bag. Yeah, but Kispert, we'll see. But with Johnny, the emphasis is Bilal, and Bilal to me has already shown a more polished offensive game. He's got work to do, but to me, Bilal's a better offensive player because he's just more consistent. He's building himself up. Whereas Johnny, you really do not know what you're going to get from game to game. So that's where I'm at with him, man. I want to see more consistency, but maybe you need to explore maybe him throwing into a deal to get at the deadline, man. I don't know, So
yeah, no, it's definitely we'll talk about it. Something we can talk about tomorrow. DMV for life, DeLon, Shamet, and Gallinari just increased their trade value. It's one of my books. Sucks for Johnny Davis, though. He has no spot on the team, so somebody else basically agrees with what Matt had to say as well. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. And also Deshaun's comment about I want to be happy because it's a win, but I feel like a loss because Poole played so bad. We expected so much from him. So we'll talk about all that tomorrow and then do the preview for the matchup again against the Hornets for the in-season tournament. But once again, we just want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you guys get podcasts. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell. Hit that like button as well. Make sure you guys check us out tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun. Hail to the Wizards. Peace.